Series 6, possibly the worst thing ever made in human history. Um, no real thoughts at the beginning here.
Head empty.
I think we
No
just
thoughts.
jump in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Start with the Christmas special, which is Christmas Carol. It's just a Christmas Carol, but with time travel instead of ghosts.
Yeah, it's got an original take on it.
It does. It's a little different.
Flying, floating fish.
Flying sharks. Yeah.
Yeah, that haunt my nightmares. Scariest Doctor Who episode I've seen.
Mr. Moffat's out to get you.
Not gonna lie, this is probably my favorite Doctor Who Christmas episode so far.
Bold choice.
I mean, because what are other options?
There
Christmas Invasion.
There are other options.
There's A Voyage of the Damned, which I do like.
Runaway Bride, which is
it's fine.
End of Time is technically a Christmas special, I guess. Next Doctor, I guess, would be the Christmas special.
Right. Okay. But for just like a self-contained just Christmas episode rather than like a big finale for the series, it is my favorite so far.
It's almost hard to count End of Time next season.
It's mostly because of the guy who plays the Ebenezer Scrooge character.
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
It's Michael Gambon.
He's a good one.
He's got a good voice.
He's got a good voice. The character writing for him actually, I think, was pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's like got some interesting themes going on where the Doctor's like trying to change his mind about this crashing ship in the present by changing his past, but it doesn't change it until it randomly does. And it's kind of like, okay.
Well, it changes it in the present,
right,
kind of, as opposed to the past,
right. But I had some interesting things going on there. It started off a little.
I was gonna say I was worried at the start of this episode.
It's a little rough at the beginning.
It's very loud. There's a lot going on, and then the Doctor has a full fucking Sherlock moment.
It was actually embarrassing to watch, but then he like cools down and just returns.
Yeah,
to his
I
normal
was worried that was how Series 6 Matt Smith was gonna play the whole time, but he calms down.
He fluctuates.
He settles down.
Because I think he's that way in Closing Time too. Yeah. But anyway, it's pretty good. I think it's an original song they had. That female actress
I was gonna look that up, but I didn't.
Well, either way, she was great. It was good.
Yeah, she was good. She had a really nice voice.
The imagery of the Doctor floating around in a carriage by a flying shark is goofy.
Yeah,
it's really goofy.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think both of us had never watched this episode. Mm-mm. Same with the next one, the Doctor, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
I'm pretty sure I skipped both of those. Oh. You're pretty sure you skipped both of those.
Yep.
We just we hate Stephen Moffat. We hope he dies.
Right, and you also hate Christmas, so it's even
we double down
even harder. Well, they do say Christmas is canceled.
Yeah, it's in the notes. Don't worry.
Okay.
Any episode that says that gets a 10. Yeah.
So go on.
Yeah, it's good. I understand why I skipped it, but I think it's a pretty solid episode.
Yeah.
Star Trek, that's what the beginning looks like. It is pulled straight ship. From Star Trek, yeah. Christmas is canceled. Sherlock.
Mm-hmm.
A lie too big for the psychic paper to...
oh, yeah. What was it? A responsible
adult. Yeah. There's a baby head with spider legs that lives in your cushions.
Why, Moffat? Why?
He's a sick man.
I don't know. That's still not as scary to me as the shark. Great white sharks are one of the most terrifying creatures on Earth to me. Honestly, they're actually like no animal actually really scares me except those.
Right.
Anyway,
reasonable. Anyways, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10.
Dang. Yeah. A Christmas episode that's above like a 5.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is There's a couple moments where they fucked it up. Because there was one moment I was about to just go full teary-eyed mode, and then they just cut back to Amy and she's screaming. Or whatever.
I know that's what they did. The moments where the man is being basically interrogated by Amy and the doctor being like, oh, you can change this, but he's like looking at
the ghosts.
He's looking at his love. He's looking at his love, and he's like, he's also like, could you do it, doctor? Because she's only got a day left to live.
Right.
Oh man,
it's good.
Good stuff.
I'm not surprised I skipped it, but I should have not skipped it.
Yeah.
Anyways, into the
best
season itself.
Season of all time. Is this Christmas episode better than the entire season?
Arguably, yeah. So the first episode is a two-parter. The first part is Impossible Astronaut. This is Doctor going to Utah, getting shot. And then he says, go to 1969, and President Nixon goes, Doctor, you're the best.
They had a really proper casting.
Yeah, Nixon was good. This first episode's a little more forgettable, I think, than the second part. The doctor dies.
Yeah, you're right. It really is more forgettable now that I think about it.
They show up. They have some pretty funny jokes in the White House and Scotland Yard and all that.
Yeah.
It's kind of just the investigation almost.
Right.
It
is the first episode with the silence.
It is, yeah. We get Amy in the bathroom.
Yep. The first is on the beach where the doctor dies. You see one in the distance. You don't get a good look, and then the next time where you see them in their full glory is just there in the White House.
Yeah.
And Amy's like, oh God.
Right. I mentioned this to you. I think the silence are probably my favorite of the Moffat creatures. Because I think finally he gets everything right, and I don't think he ever fucks them up too much.
Yeah.
It's just such a neat little idea. It's the most plausible, if that makes sense. Like they could be here, you wouldn't know.
Well, right. Like on a technical level, just based on their defense mechanism, where you forget them when you're not looking. It's like on a technical level, it's like in that sense they could be real.
Right. I like their goofy lightning abilities.
Yeah.
I like their...
I don't know how I feel about that. I like how they look when they're doing it.
Yeah.
They look pretty cool and scary. His biggest inspiration for that, Moffat's, was the Scream, the painting.
Yeah. Edvard Munch.
Yeah, and crossed with like the classic gray alien. So, then they... how does it even end again?
This first part ends with... Amy shooting the child in the astronaut.
Oh, suit. Yeah. Right.
They don't. I also like how the silence can influence people. That's another aspect.
Right.
I really
they
like.
sort of incept ideas or actions into your brain that you do without really thinking.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, first part notes. Easter Island heads apparently are all Matt Smith.
They're worshiping him.
You asked why did he regenerate when he gets shot? Isn't this his last regeneration?
Right. Yes.
My argument for this is that's the Series 7 arc, and I don't think anyone cared enough until Series 7, and Moffat went, oh, wait, 13 regenerations, we're there. I got to fix this. I think no one just fucking cared.
Mm-hmm.
Or I honestly don't remember if they come up with that next season, if that was a rule before.
I think he came up with it.
I think he did, so... It works fine. Whatever. Yeah. Who cares? Nothing matters. We do what the doctor's friends always do. Burn him alive. And then fake slow-mo with Amy shooting the child. Anyways, what are you doing? This is another 8 out of 10.
Yeah, no, it's
I like this episode.
It's not bad.
It's kind of... This one's very Americana-esque.
Yeah,
we get a
like
lot of American
diner
imagery.
Yeah.
And then the next one's kind of a conspiracy thriller.
They finally acknowledge we're the most powerful nation in the world.
Yeah.
At least we were in 1969.
Yeah. The president gets a phone call when a child has nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jefferson, it's me, President Nixon.
We're coming for you, Jefferson.
Anyways, the second part is Day of the Moon. I really like this episode. It's kind of a conspiracy thriller, political thriller in Doctor Who, which is really weird.
It has a very cool sequence of the abandoned orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
Very spooky. Things start to get set up for the Moffat arc. It's a little schizo.
Yep.
You get to see a strange woman.
I think she's dreaming.
Yeah, it's it doesn't make any sense at the time that you see it, so it's just very strange.
Very unnerving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get the orphanage in this. We get the doctor working with Canton.
It opens with a big fake out.
Yeah.
Where
he shoots them all.
It's like 5 months later or something crazy.
Yeah, 3, I think. 3 months.
Okay. Yeah. And they're supposedly being hunted down, probably at the behest of the Silence.
Yep.
Which we still don't even know is like a religion at this point, do we?
We just think they're these weird aliens.
You're right. We just think it's a species.
Yeah.
But it turns out that was just a plot by the doctor.
Yep.
They're like, they built him the perfect salad of like antimatter materials, and then like the president just walks out of there. Yeah. They're like, sir, you've been in there for 3 days.
No one questions it. Mr.
Funny.
President.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good. This has a really good ending where they use the Silence's ability against them.
Yes.
Broadcasting through the moon landing.
Mm-hmm.
You should kill us on sight.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, even if they didn't have that power, Americans would be like, we'll do that. We'll do that.
What is that? Kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
we have the firepower to do so. So.
Yeah. I guess I'll go. We're speeding through. I don't know. These are the episodes we like, so we can go quick before we just start angrily yelling.
It's true. Yeah.
Anyways, Day of the Moon, the CG sideways TARDIS that a river falls into.
Oh, yeah, that did not look too good.
Yeah.
Not too good at all.
I have a note here that says the scene, referring to the scene I mentioned to you months ago where Amy just keeps looking down. And
I know. I remembered that scene.
And then perhaps scarier than Midnight.
I disagree.
Perhaps.
You are a big fan of the Silence and their the idea behind them.
Yeah.
And I like it, but it's more about the fact that just the Weeping Angels came first.
Right.
And did an almost similar mechanic.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. And even though Moffat ruins them, I sort of just block that out of my mind, and they still remain my favorite. But the Silence are cool. I'm just not, I don't think I'm as fond of them as you are.
Yeah. Anyways, this is 9 out of 10 for me. It's just downhill from here.
It's true. Very true.
This is also what makes this season so disappointing, because he opens up with this just one punch.
He had the advantage in doing so by not having either a new doctor or new companions.
Right.
It was the same doctor and the same companions from the previous season, so that all that precedent is just set. Yeah. And he's able to just start running.
Do what he wants.
Yeah. So that was a big advantage for him.
For sure.
And I'm almost like glad it worked out that way, because it does get a bit old having things reintroduced every time. So it was probably one of the stronger starts to a Doctor Who season ever.
I think my favorite opener is probably always going to be 11th Hour. But yeah, this is a really, really impressive start.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite. I do really like Smith & Jones just because of the novelty of the episode.
Right.
But
yeah, and it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Anyways, thus begins our run of endlessly terrible episodes.
It never ends. It never ends.
The third episode this series is Curse of the Black Spot. It's just really forgettable.
It's really boring.
I think I fast-forwarded my way through most of it the first time I watched it. Because I didn't remember a whole lot. I have here in my notes, why does David only remember the stupid episodes? Because you're like, it's a metagen, and
of course. But how could you not? How could you not? It's how could you not realize it's the like?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably just read the notes unless you.
I really don't have much to say at all, honestly. Like, not even pirates can save it. And I like pirates. You want an Nephilim? Go mate with an angel.
Yeah, you get giants in the Book of Enoch. Yeah.
Scary stuff.
It is.
Really scary stuff.
It is. You know what's scarier? The curse
of the Black Spot.
I'm going to pull my skin off.
Well, they did do that. That's what the black spot is.
Yeah.
You see, it's a tissue sample from the.
Hope you enjoyed those 40 minutes of dead air.
We're back.
Anyways, no, it's Macbeth. I guess there's a Macbeth reference. David only remembers stupid episodes. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because they use the "Are You Afraid of the Dark" intro as the mermaid song. Paul Cornell-These nuts. I don't know what that means, but it's in here. Anyways, this is a 2 out of 10 for me.
Oh.
That's all. Anyways, let's move on. Doctor's Wife. So I looked up a little backstory on this. This is written by Neil Gaiman. I really like Neil Gaiman. I think he's written a lot of really good stuff. He is a good writer. He's definitely got his own style that is pretty recognizable. It's in this episode pretty clearly. But apparently Stephen Moffat watched an interview of Neil Gaiman or something, and Gaiman said, "Yeah, I quite like Stephen Moffat." And so he said, "Bring him in, have him write an episode."
They would do that.
Yeah, of course he would.
This is a very Tim Burton aesthetic episode.
And that's almost the Neil Gaiman
the house
style.
Or house.
Is similar to Tim Burton-esque.
Right.
But this one definitely leans more into that, yeah.
Right. The setting is one of the things the episode really has going for it.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the most well-received episodes, both critically and audience-wise. I remember really loving it back in the day. This time, I like it.
Yeah.
I don't think it is nearly as good as people seem to think it is.
It's pretty good. It's not amazing.
Yeah. I think there are problems with it.
Right, of course. It's no impossible planet.
Right, yeah.
The TARDIS being trapped into a Helena Bonham Carter wannabe.
Yeah.
You found I had to just look it up.
I could have just told you that, but
yeah. Thank you. That's the vibe it gives. That adds to the Tim Burton feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Because she definitely looks like that.
The part, yeah.
And acting like this quirky girl. It makes sense because it's like the TARDIS or whatever. It can't be housed in the human body.
It makes sense. I do find it gets a little annoying at times.
Right. Her farewell is good.
Her farewell is really good. Yeah. Also, this has one of the best just descriptions of the series. He goes, "You never take me where I want to go," and she gets I always take you where you need to go.
Yep, that's a very true statement. Right,
and this is something Moffat I think should learn from Gaiman, because Gaiman, both the episodes he writes, this one and Nightmare in Silver are very venerable to Classic Who. You can tell he was a huge fan of Classic Who, and he comes in and he introduces new ideas, but it's not, you left the parking brake on. It's these ideas that actually add to the lore as opposed to just being fucking
and it
annoying.
also builds upon it in a way that isn't just shitting on it.
Exactly.
It's respectful. Cares. It's respectful. It's not, you leave the parking brake on, that's why it makes that noise. It's like, no, that's the living, breathing sound of the TARDIS. Fuck you. Anyways, we've already been over that.
And she gets a good line in this too. It's not even a line where she goes, "I'm the thing that goes."
yeah. She just makes the TARDIS noise. A problem I have with this episode, it's like they kind of just rewrite the Doctor's entire reaction to Gallifreyans, Time Lords, up until this point. Every time he's had to encounter them, he's always just been because he's the one that basically time locked them. Right. And he's like...
Yeah, and he has the line in this where the house or whatever says, "You should fear me. I've killed many Time Lords." And he's like, "Fear me. I killed them all."
Yeah, right?
Yikes.
Right. But it's like before that, he is like hopeful that he's going to meet some on this planet for some reason, but they're just previous recorded messages.
I have some backstory on that. These are apparently rogue Time Lords like the Doctor.
Okay.
And he
true.
knows them.
They wouldn't have been a part of the Time War if they were here.
Right. And he, in the original draft, I was looking at the emails between Gaiman and Moffat because they're really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Because Stephen Moffat's a coke addict.
I hate that guy.
But Gaiman originally had it where the guy who has the tattoo on his arm, I forgot his name, was like a role model to the Doctor.
He does explain that at the beginning, actually.
And the
he
Doctor,
actually does.
Right, but there was more. The Doctor wanted to actually be his companion and learn from him and go with him. And Moffat went, "That takes away all the mystique of the Doctor. Rewrite that." Which is actually something I agree with.
Yeah, because it kind of turns like the Doctor into just like a Doctor sequel. Who's this other character that's just the Doctor, but more the Doctor. Right. Yeah, that's true. But he does.
For once, Moffat's right.
Yeah. But he does establish that this is somebody he knows of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And how every regeneration always kept that tattoo.
And in the final script, it's almost more of a legend than he actually knew this person.
Yeah, right. Which is good. So I guess that does make sense. That these aren't Time Lords that he would be
angry
to see. I like the ragdoll people.
Yeah, they're really
and we get
creepy.
an Ood.
We get an Ood.
Big fan.
The final Ood, I believe.
Is there not one in his last episode?
There might be. I don't think there
is.
In
Trend's lore or whatever?
There might be.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember. There's so much in that fucking episode.
Right. It's literally everything.
Yeah.
But, nephew. Mm-hmm. He's good.
Auntie, uncle, yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite sequence from this episode is, of course, Amy and Rory trapped in the TARDIS, possessed by House. Right. It opens some horrifying concepts about time and the TARDIS. Mm-hmm.
It just adds to our argument that the Time Lords need to be stopped
because
they shouldn't make
this is the most
things.
Cursed contraptions, the most cursed technology ever. Yeah. Amy kill Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kill Amy.
That part actually messes me up.
It's genuinely terrifying
because it's like, well, it's terrifying in the sense that it's just like really awful.
Yeah.
It's just genuinely awful. It's more feeds off of that dread feeling. Right. And it's like, and the makeup, it just genuinely looks like a corpse, like a corpse of Rory. Makeup, it's like, oh my God. They don't even really focus on it all that much because it is that is just a corpse.
Yeah.
Like, it's really messed up. Yeah. And then they just move on as they always do.
Right. This episode has a lot going for it. Like you said, the setting's super cool. I think all the miniatures and CGI and sets they use there work really well.
The effects aren't too bad either.
The effects are pretty decent, except for him flying the open TARDIS.
You think so?
It's not terrible, but it is a little... It's corny, and it fits, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It lands a TARDIS in a TARDIS.
Yeah, he gets to build a makeshift TARDIS and land it in the TARDIS, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
You have anything else to say? Time?
That's it.
Hypercube. Yeah, so that part of this episode is it does use a lot from Classic Who. That's the message he gets is from a Hypercube. Like, what was that? War Games? Is that from? Something like that. I have Time Burton.
That's a good one. That's good.
That's a good one. This looks like the Wizard of Oz. Every night they come for me and hurt me. That's a Rory.
That's
a Rory moment. Doctor is guys with cars.
With the TARDIS?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's calling the TARDIS sexy.
Yeah. It was that woman and the Doctor. That's Rory's line reading.
Yeah.
But it's even worse.
I mean, he just, died, again. Yeah. So, he dies a lot.
Michael Sheen, that's the guy who does the voice for House. The Voice.
He's the voice.
Our new Doctor Who villain, The Voice.
Yeah, we made up
BBC,
our own.
Give us a call.
House, The Silence, The Voice.
Water. And then bunk beds are cool. When Amy and Rory say they want
because House deleted the bedrooms, and he's like, no more. But they're like, no more bunk beds, Doctor. There will be no canoodling on his TARDIS, because then you get River Songs.
Yeah, exactly.
He knew.
Anyways, this is probably the only break in the terrible run.
And then it's...
Yeah. This is a 7 out of 10 for me. I like it. I don't think it's nearly as good as people have attributed it.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
It's just... It's a well-rounded.
Yeah.
Nothing
I'm gonna piss people off when I give Nightmare in Silver a higher score. They're gonna go, "What, you sick man? You like that Gaiman episode more?" And I'm gonna go, "Yeah." And they're gonna kill me.
I don't remember Nightmare in Silver at all.
Shoot me in the head with a gun.
Maybe it'll be the same thing where you thought it was better.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Anyways, next we get another two-parter. A lot in this season, apparently. And it is The Rebel Flesh. I guess Stephen Moffat watched Series 2 and went, I really like that episode, Fear Her. Could we bring back Matthew Graham to write a two-parter, perhaps? Make it even longer? Is that possible? Could we do that? And Matthew Graham said, yeah, I do that show Life on Mars, and I'm a bad writer. I'll come write an episode again. And this is what we get. This is what we get.
I have nothing to say except that Matt Smith Flesh version just looks like Matt Smith.
yeah, there's no difference.
It just never ends.
Yeah, this
episode literally never ends.
Yeah. It was much like Dull X in Manhattan almost.
Or Vampires in Venice, but so much worse.
Yeah, it just kept going and going. We laughed for hours on end. Came back, and it was still playing.
Every time you blink, it stops. So it's like it's extending its time for as long as possible. You have to be sucked into every second.
Yeah, this is such a weird two-parter because I don't hate the concept. It's kind of interesting.
It could have been okay if it was one part. It could have not been a piece of shit if it was just one part.
I really like the Gothic castle setting.
Yeah.
The color grading in this episode is
gray.
Atrocious.
Yeah, it is.
It's really bad.
I think my only scene I like from the first part is where the Doctor burns his shoes on acid and the TARDIS is sinking in the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only note I have is TARDIS in ground.
It's funny. And he's like, what are you doing down there? Yeah, that's it. That's the only good part.
Yeah, I guess we'll move on to the second part. This is a 2 out of 10 for me. There's not much here. There's not much here.
No, there really isn't. It just keeps
It opens with a lady
going.
murdering someone, pushing him into acid, and then going, oh, you tripped.
Yeah, she just pushes them, and then everyone's like, oh, well, all right. Because, I mean, obviously it's setting up the fact that they have a failsafe because it's the most dangerous site because they're farming acid, but maybe it's the most dangerous site because they're just pushing people
into acid.
Yeah.
Anyways, the second part is the Almost People. This improves very slightly on the first part because it has the resolution and because it has Matt Smith.
It has the idea of like the two doctors and that they switch shoes, and it's mildly interesting.
Yeah, it's got some interesting parts. Amy's pretty interesting in this episode in that she is just terrible to the other doctor, and then it's like, no, that was me.
She's like, you're not the real doctor, but it was.
Yeah. She got him, or he got her, rather. This episode ends with him going, Amy, you're pregnant. So he immediately turns her into a puddle of jizz.
Yep. And Rory's just like, okay.
Yeah, this one is slightly better because it does have a little more, but there's not a whole lot. Again,
so it's a 3.
It is, in fact, a 3 out of 10. And my only note on this one is, this is what he does to pregnant companions.
Yeah, he gets rid of them.
Yeah. Oh, my. We're going to go so quick through those ones, then it's just going to be this for the next hour. Anyways, the next episode is A Good Man Goes to War, starring our favorite Turkish servants. So Mr. David has a Doctor Who monster compendium.
Hey, that came out of nowhere. I did not intentionally get that book. I'm not that much of a retard.
And there's a page that talks about, I don't even remember their name.
It's Strax and the
Silurian
lizard woman and her girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it's like it has little captions next to all the photos, and it's like, here pictured is the lady and her partner, and with them their butler, possibly of Turkish origin.
Yeah, talking about Strax.
Yeah. I am baffled that
it must be from an episode.
It must be later on.
Yeah. Crimson Horror, maybe.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Anyways, you made the assumption correctly that this is a Marvel movie.
It is.
in that there is high production value, fast pace, big action, and just no substance at all.
Absolutely none. All it has going for it was the budget.
Yeah. I would venture to say this is maybe the worst written episode in the entire show.
Ooh.
It has some of the most terrible dialogue ever written.
It's really shallow.
When they introduce the soldiers, the way they introduce them is they walk up to a lady and go, "Hi, we're the gay Anglo-Saxon soldiers. I'm the tall one and I'm the short one." And you go, "What? Where am I?"
And then when they're the doctor just makes them start killing each other by showing up as posing as one of the monks, and then they just start killing the monks, and the monks kill back, and they're like, "We are not idiots." And it's like, I get that's the point, but come on.
Yeah. And then you have can't remember her name, the military officer later on.
Oh, the Asian one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she has the line where she goes, "You're the greatest warrior in the universe."
He's like, "Who told you that?"
Yeah,
or
and
something
she goes,
like that.
"Then why are you called the Doctor?" Yeah. And you're like, "What? What does that even mean?"
I mean, River, to play devil's advocate, River does say something like along the lines at the end of the episode. I'm pretty sure that the Doctor is changing the title of Wise Man and Healer of that is the Doctor to like Warrior basically, but they don't build on that at all.
No, not at all.
They literally don't build on that at all. It's like she's saying like you're doing that, but it doesn't actually happen. Right. Of course.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
The only water in the forest is the river.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that one?
Yeah, and this to give another interesting example. This series, for whatever reason, is highly punctuated with these children's rhymes or like little poems. I don't know why.
It's because he's kind of trying to...
It's kind of continuing the fairy tale thing
Right, with Series 5, but it doesn't work here. He needs to move on. It made sense for 5 because it was all like centered around this little girl's dreams.
Yeah.
But you need to grow up now, Mr. Moffat. It's time to grow up.
Yeah, he has River Song, I think, reads the little poem where she's like, demons run when a good man goes to war.
It's
and you're like,
so sanctimonious. God. This whole season is very sanctimonious. I would argue the entirety of Moffat's era is, but this one, it's really apparent.
Really apparent, yeah. It starts with Rory trying to be a badass, but we know Rory, so it just comes off as flat.
I'm okay with Rory being this like brave Roman that's loyal and stayed with Amy and will do what it takes and is a man, but he needs to still be himself.
Right.
He needs to not. He's not very intimidating.
He's a goofy small man.
I'm okay with him meaning business when Rory's being Rory. What is happening? My brain is gone. When Amy is like threatened or whatever, but he's still Rory. You gotta play on that. You can't just suddenly turn him into like this hero.
Right. And this is definitely the episode where I start to feel that Moffat's using one hand to write. It just feels like he's blowing his load with every other line he writes.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Goes, that's the last victim, Jack the Ripper.
Oh my god! I knew that's what you were gonna say because I was. That is so stupid. That is actually him. I'm gonna peek the audio right now. I can see I'm doing it. That is.
Yeah, it's bad.
The only character reintroduction or whatever that like he does that's like kind of entertaining is Strax.
For sure. I think Strax is the only good new character in this episode.
Yeah.
And he's not even new. He was in Silurian, Centauran Stratagem.
Right, but isn't it different because they're all just clones anyways?
I'm not sure.
It would be a different because that guy dies in that episode. The one that is like literally the same prosthetic, but or the same actor or whatever. But the fact that they established that Centaurans are clones,
right? So and he says he's from that clone batch.
Right,
he's being punished.
Yeah. Anyway,
and Strax is really good.
It's interesting that the Doctor is like, oh, you have to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Now or I'll kill you. I don't know. Probably. That's probably how the conversation went.
Yeah. Strax is good in I think every episode he shows up just because the Centaurans are so goofy and just funny.
They're good.
I love his little lines. He heals the kid, and he's like, "You are healed now. Hopefully, I will meet you in the field of battle and demolish you and kill your entire family."
Yeah, no, he's good. Like obviously, that is the purpose of them to be comedic relief, but it works.
It does, yeah.
And then you get the lizard lady and her girlfriend, and it's just.
I do not like them at all. I think they even get worse after this episode.
Because they literally are just a piece of meat for Moffat.
Yeah,
it's just him jerking himself off. That's all it is. They're not actually good characters.
Yeah, they have no character.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, oh, I don't
one's
know.
One's a lizard.
Solarian's mean.
One's his maid, and
one's a maid.
And they're girlfriends, and she has swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Moffat, great. We get the blue guy in this one. I think his name is Dorian.
Yeah, Dorian something.
Yeah. He is okay. I don't hate him. He's not great.
He's fine.
But he's all right.
It's the one they got the vortex manipulator from.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like this merchant character.
He's kind of very Star Wars-esque.
Yep.
And this is kind of a very Star Wars kind of episode.
Definitely.
Yeah, so Amy's been another terrifying, just throwaway concept from Moffat. Amy's been kidnapped and her baby's been removed and forcibly converted into a weapon. Okay, Mr. Moffat, whatever. Kind of glosses over that. So the Doctor and Rory they go to the Cyber Legion and take them out. They go to a bunch of different places to try and find the Papal Mainframe, which is the government group that works for the Church of the Silence.
And they're in Demon's Run.
They are in Demon's Run. And
when a good man's goes where?
This gets resolved in Series 7 as this branch was what broke off from Mother Superior of the Church of the Silence to kill the Doctor before he reaches Trenzalore. That's a much better arc, if you ask me. I think this is a total fucking mess because he tries to do too much, which is bizarre because this episode is about one thing. It's about getting Amy's baby and discovering its river song, which in and of itself is a terrible, stupid twist, if you ask me. But even with just that one thing to do, this episode feels so cluttered and busy and just a mess. It's a disaster.
Yep.
And another fucking terrifying moment when Amy's baby just turns into jizz.
It gives you, I don't know, the sort of, it's set up the prerequisite that like Amy is getting these like memories, these co-witness memories,
right,
where it's like even though she's a clone for most of the season prior, apparently that she's seeing these memories from her actual self, from the Madame whatever looking Kavarian, Madame Kavarian looking in, and then it's happening to the fake river baby. So it's like that's I most likely missed that the first time I watched this, but like I picked up on that. But it's still just kind of Moffat, like, look what I can do.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of those haha 6 things.
Right.
But worse.
Yeah. I didn't mention this back in Day of the Moon and Impossible Astronaut. I think that's the best I've felt about River. I think she was fine in that episode. I even like some parts with her.
Yeah, she was all right.
And then, oh my God, does this season just make it worse?
Oh
my Lord.
I like when she comes back and at the end of the episode of Good Man Goes to War and the Doctor's just pissed.
Yeah.
Until
she
tells him who she is, and it doesn't freaking matter.
Right.
I don't like when River dunks on the Doctor. It's never good.
No, it isn't, because she just feels so pompous and annoying. I don't like Madame Kavarian very much. I don't know if it's the actress or just Moffat being shit at writing female characters.
It's true.
I can never tell which one it is.
Yeah.
She feels like a Davies era villain. She's super hammy and goofy, and it doesn't fit where he's trying to be so serious and action-packed and
because if it was a Davies era, she would fit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel about River Song too. I feel she does not fit ever
anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it. I guess I'll read the notes now. Unless we think of something else that's terrible. Most of this is terrible. Whenever the monks show up, that's the only good part.
That's the combat song. What is it?
It's in here, yeah.
Yeah.
The first note is, I hate. That's all. I'm old, I'm fat, I'm blue. What do you need me for? Fuck any timeline. I don't know what that means, but it's there. That's the attack prayer.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyways, this is a 1 out of 10. This is not a good episode.
It doesn't have anything of value. It doesn't add anything. It literally adds nothing, but at the end, River is poopy poo-poo.
I think the twist actually detracts because this is the problem with Matt Smith's era is he tries so hard, Moffat does, to just tie everything together. And at times that can be really nice, like when you watch Series 5 and you're like, oh, the silence stuff was set up here. That's kind of cool. But then he has to resolve River Song by it being Amy's daughter, and he has to do this and this and this. And then he does too much stuff, and it just comes off as
you start to not care
and annoying, and
you start to lose interest. Your eyes glaze over because there's just Moffat's just it's for him. Right. It's all for him. It's not for the audience.
Yeah, it's a fanfic.
Yeah.
Anyways, he writes one of the worst episodes ever, and says, "Oh, let's make it a two-parter where I write another one of the worst episodes ever." There was a little break in the season before this, which is why, starting in this episode, Matt Smith has his big old goofy coat that we all kind of like, but it doesn't quite fit him. Anyways, this is Let's Kill Hitler. Oh no, David has left the building. He's gone.
Go
on. This is... People try to defend this. I've seen people try to defend this. They go, oh, it's a comic romp. And I think this, alongside Good Man Goes to War, is one of the worst written episodes ever, just in TV history, because it doesn't care. You can tell Mom that just doesn't give a shit. Because we start with the introduction of Mel's, who is apparently a childhood friend. I don't blame Mom.
At least they give us a montage rather than just saying that. But they almost do that out of obligation.
I don't blame him for not putting her in 11th hour, because I guarantee he didn't think of that by then.
Right.
So I understand.
He had to do
but
something.
He could have set it up at the start of this season.
Yeah.
He could have had her hanging out with Amy when she gets the letter from the doctor. Well, I guess that'd be after. Anyways, there's ways you could set it up. And it feels like it just comes out of left field. Even the doctor's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Amy's childhood friend. And then it goes into a little montage.
I hate her, man.
Yes,
I hate her so much. She is a classic example of your empowered female character with nothing.
Right.
All they are is just a mouthpiece.
Yes.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
They don't have anything going on for them other than the fact that they are female and they kick ass.
Right, yeah. And this is, I think, by far the worst River Song ever is.
Yeah.
She is so bad.
This is the peak.
So bad. But anyways, Mel hijacks the TARDIS to go kill Hitler. Hitler's in this episode surprisingly a lot less than I figured he would be.
I'm actually kind of impressed with their ability not to make it this huge statement.
Yeah.
They just it really actually just feels like they just went back in time.
Right.
Like they're not like trying to make a thing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really more about River and River's purpose to kill the Doctor rather than
exactly.
And setting up this new concept, what is it called, this robot?
Starts with a T.
Yeah.
Tesseract?
Yeah, Tessellactor or something.
Yeah.
It's a robot that can transform into anyone, and it's being controlled by
tiny people.
Tiny miniaturized people. Yeah. They're not actually tiny people. They've just been shrunken down. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Right. And that's the problem, because there's more in this I like than Good Man Goes to War.
Because it actually introduces some things.
Yeah, there is good stuff in here. There's good performances, there's good little moments, but it is so weighed down by just how stupid and poorly thought out and poorly
River
written.
just ruins the episode.
She does.
She's brainless in this episode. She's actually stupid. She just has nothing.
Yeah. And there's another Sherlock moment where he switches the banana for the gun, and it's no.
Yeah. Well, I finally get a lockdown, thankfully, in this. If this episode gave me one thing, it's they gave me a lockdown on the timeline of River Song's for generations.
Right.
So she starts as that little girl.
Yes.
That's what she was born as.
Yep.
And then they take her, and then she escapes, and she regenerates in that alley in front of that homeless man.
Yep.
And she turns into Mel there, I'm pretty sure, because Mel did grow up. And I think this actually implies, because she also has a line of dialogue later, this implies that Time Lords can kind of control their own physical outward age to some extent.
Right, because she says, I'm focusing on a dress size.
Right. Or no, not just that. That's more of a, like, where did I get this face?
Right.
But, like, when she's in that ballroom or whatever, in that dining room, and she's looking in the mirror at different clothing articles, she's like, I think I'll reverse the age a little bit. Like, I know that was a cop-out, but it does kind of also make sense with the beginning of the episode, how she's Mel, and then she becomes older Mel.
Yeah.
Like, so if a Time Lord regenerates as a child, then they can still age into an adult or something.
Yeah, it's never super addressed, I think, ever in the show. And we were talking about that, just how regeneration would work. Could you regenerate into a child? Matt Smith regenerates into Capaldi, so you can go older.
Yeah,
but David Tennant regenerated into Matt Smith, who is younger.
This is all the episode gives us. It's just our own little stupid, like, we're able to think about the biology of Time Lords. Other than that, it's like the actual content.
Right. There is stuff I like. I like when Matt Smith goes into the TARDIS and he sets his system for more guilt, and he gets little Amy, and he keeps trying to talk to her, and she's just like, I'm not Amy Pierpont, I'm the voice system.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. Doctor gets a little super goofy coming out in his suit and stumbling down the stairs and then freaking out.
I know, because he's poisoned.
But I kind of like that. This is the part that was alluded to in Day of the Moon or Impossible Astronaut, when River Song said, I met him and he knew everything about me. Can you imagine?
But what that would do to an impressionable girl.
Yeah. This is a very...
I'm going to impress my thumb into her eyes.
I'm going
to get this video taken down.
We don't like River Song here, fellas. This is just it's so unfortunate, because I think this has more good stuff than Good Man Goes to War, but it's weighed down more by the bad stuff it has, which is super unfortunate. I guess I'll just read the notes here and you can jump in. Amy, I'm not gay. Yes, you are. That's what she says to Rory.
Right.
Force him to be gay, yeah.
It's a paradox, though, because Mel River gets them together.
Them, I came here to work. There's another Polish man in this.
When he goes to see Hitler, and he's like, it's one of our Polish immigrant
custodians, Sherlock moment. 10 out of 10 just for Amy. She looks really, really good in this episode.
Yeah, you were a big fan. Yeah. That's all that kept you going. And the doctor stumbling around. Nothing could save it for me, not even Hitler.
I have Lake Silencio. Ha ha ha. Get it? Silencio.
Fuck off.
Anyways, this is a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God. Nothing saves it. I'm sorry. It's just too... The dynamic, it's like, because that's what the episode is built up on,
right?
Is the River Doctor. It's like, this is everything.
That meeting, that's the culmination.
It is. This is what it's been leading up to. Moffat's big fucking brain idea, and it just isn't good.
Right. It is so self-indulgent. It's so... He thinks he's so smart and funny, and it's
Moffat's gonna find us and kill us.
Hey, I like Mr. Moffat. It's going to be harder after this season. But
yeah, we liked 5, okay?
Yeah. 5 is good. Yeah. 5 is really good. Anyways, to continue our terrible streak, Mr. Moffat was, bring in Mark Gatiss again.
I think he was maybe he was self-aware this whole time. Maybe he knew this is what he wants. We're playing right into his hands. He's like, time to
It's 5 steps ahead.
Black spot. Oh yeah, you know what? Time to write A Good Man Goes to War. Time to write Let's Kill Hitler. Oh, bring in Mark Gatiss. Bring him in.
Bring in Matthew Graham. Yeah, he probably is in on this. This is his plan.
He knew. He's breaking us down so that when he writes something slightly good, we're like, he's done it. He's done it.
Yeah, he's come back. Yeah. He's back.
So when he writes Heaven Sent, we suck him off.
We just got 2 seasons. 3 seasons. Anyways, this is Night Terrors. Oh, baby. Mr. Mark Gatiss, I don't think we'll ever write an episode that is above a 5 for me. I know I gave Unquiet Dead a 6. It's moved down as time's gone on.
This episode could have been pretty good.
I think there are seeds of good things.
Right.
Yes.
Like, it had potential.
And I'll bring this up now. This is the start of a trilogy of episodes that I think is Amy and Rory's best moment.
Right.
This is where they work.
Yeah.
Because they did not work for us at all.
Right.
They're good in this episode. Amy finally gets turned into a doll and dies. Next episode, she ages up and dies.
Yeah.
And
things start happening to Amy instead of the other way around. Instead of Rory just getting shit on and just expected to just carry on.
Right. Yeah.
Like he always does.
Yeah.
And
we can talk about this more at the end of
God Complex. Right. God Complex and The Girl Who Waited really culminate that.
Yeah.
Or
right. And this is just kind of the start.
Yeah.
Amy gets got.
Yep.
So yeah,
and it all really comes down to like the Doctor in the end of the God Complex being like, I really am just a madman with a box.
Yeah.
Like, anyways.
Yeah.
Back to hell.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about Mark Gatiss's writing just really doesn't work for me.
This episode's just kind of boring.
It is.
And yellow. And I'm not necessarily opposed to the color grading or the like cinematography in this one because it is kind of oppressive and like miserable feeling.
Those wide apartment shots.
I know the apartment is in itself probably the scariest thing of the episode because it's like just this horrible modern architecture. But he didn't use that to his advantage. Right. It's just kind of there. Yeah. He didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that happens in this. Both the kid and the father are mouth breathers who look like they have
with recessed chins and the child actor. It must have been somebody's like nephew, some producer's nephew or some shit.
He's better than Fear Her, but he's not great.
He's not good.
It's
like you should have just got a kid a little bit older.
Yeah.
What would have been wrong with that?
And this is... I can appreciate this episode more because Mark Gatiss falls back from his classic, always have to give stupid social commentary.
Yeah, there's none, really.
There's a little bit, but it's almost more just themes.
Yeah, it's more...
social services
or like...
children.
Or kind of like almost something to say about like adopted children, like adoptive parents.
To love them and taking them in.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's subtle. It's not really...
Yeah, it's actually a theme instead of social commentary.
Right, exactly.
Which is... plus.
Yeah.
I don't find this episode scary. I find it dull and annoying.
Especially because it uses really stereotypical tropes in the moment that it could have been scary with the dolls in the dollhouse.
And the laughing.
They use the stereotypical like child laughing child nursery rhymes. That's where it starts, isn't it? Though, with the whole "leaving for the doctor" kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because we get the Demons Run one in Good Man Goes to War. We get this one, and End of Closing Time has one, and Wedding a River Song has one.
Yep.
Yeah, they're really everywhere.
But yeah, not great.
Anyways, my notes here. Making a house call.
The child...
You think I didn't just guess that line? You thought I remembered it, but I guarantee I just guessed it because
the child sounded like this most of the episode.
The bins. The old lady complaining about the bins to the doctor is kind of amusing. It's never easy, is it? I don't know what that's in reference to, but the breathing, yeah. And then the doctor encouraging George to destroy the world. says, "You created this world, George. Destroy the world, George. Destroy it." Because the Doctor's a madman.
With a box.
I was kind of disappointed because I remember kind of liking this episode. It's definitely fused with God Complex. I think I get those two confused a little bit.
Right. They are kind of similar.
Yeah. Anyways, but for me, this is a classic 3 out of 10.
I don't see if I can really give it a 4 for any good reason.
Right. It's just kind of...
Or lower.
It's not terrible, but it is just really bland and kind of boring. It's not super well shot. It's not super well edited. The performances are fine. They're nothing special. Anyways, to continue our little Amy Rory trilogy, we get The Girl Who Waited, which basically takes Neil Gaiman's little sequence from Doctor's Wife and makes it an episode with Amy instead of Rory.
And it breaks our horrible streak.
Yeah, it finally breaks it, thank God.
This is a bit of an Amy's choice in that sense.
Yeah.
Like kind of a highlight of the season.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite concept in the show so far. Really? I don't think it's executed the best.
Right.
But just conceptually, the temporal engines, the different time streams, the
setting is compelling.
I love this concept, so that gets it points immediately. I don't think they executed the best.
Yeah, it could have been better.
But it is interesting. So they arrive on Appalachia.
Yeah.
And there's
which gets its sort of novelty out of the fact that it's like a infinite tourism trap.
Right.
Or like you can see beautiful sights and sounds from all over time and space.
Yeah, because they like to collect things they like.
Right.
And right now the planet's under quarantine because of Gen 7.
Gen 7, which is
deadly to
super
Time Lords,
deadly,
but not to humans.
It's the 24-hour virus, or the day virus, or whatever.
Virus,
you get it for a day and then you die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's almost Dr. Light, almost.
Yeah, this is just such a good idea. So the facility, in order to give people time with their loved ones, splits into different temporal time streams. So the sick people go into a time stream that is much faster, but to the people witnessing, they get to see someone live out their entire life in a day. But for them, it's an entire life because of the way the temporal engines warp time. And it's just such this interesting idea. And the Doctor even points it out. Rory's like, that's cruel. And he's like, no, it's kindness. Would you rather...
I think I get it now. I didn't really get it when I watched it.
Would you rather watch someone die in a day or watch someone live their life in a day? It's just such an interesting idea to me. But Amy pushes the red stream because she's a dork.
Yep. So they're in separate time streams.
Yeah. So the Doctor locks onto her glass and lands, but he's 36 years late because of the way the temporal engines...
Instead of 12 days, it was...
stretched the time. And this is just like... this episode just beats you. It beats you on the head.
It's messed up. It's pretty messed up. It's almost Kill Amy levels of messed up.
Yeah. Because, we get to see the lipstick, how it's faded. She is really hardened and mean. She's got a robot named
She doesn't
Rory.
even really... Yeah, she doesn't really care. Well, this is what kind of redeems Amy completely. Because it's really Rory that actually softens her up again.
Right, because she still loves Rory, but she hates the Doctor.
Yes.
She's got the robot named Rory. She even is open to him when he comes back.
Well, she not at first,
right? It takes a little while.
But she's starting to remember, and it's really the nail in the coffin when she's seeing herself that was like just recently trapped there. Yeah. And that younger Amy is able to give a pep talk to the older Amy, based solely around their shared love for Rory.
Right, and that's the thing that can bring them together. That's so strong it can break time.
It gives that same level of like respect for a character that you would get from like Rory always being there for Amy because he watched her for 2,000 years or whatever. So it's like now it's the girl who waited and she's able to
the boy who waited.
Yeah.
Another title.
Yep. Loves his titles.
Yeah, interesting point. The guy who wrote this, I think his name is Tom McRae, wrote the Age of Steel, Time of the Cybermen two-parter.
Yeah,
which is such a tonal whiplash between the two.
I think he really came into his own.
He did, yeah. I don't know if he writes any episodes after this. This might be his last one.
He had to prove himself.
Yeah, just like
he had to come back. He had to come back.
But yeah, this episode ends with a classic Matt Smith goes sicko mode moment.
Oh my god, it is fucked up. So they're like, they bring the old Amy and the young Amy into the same time stream finally.
Fold the temporal
and Rory's like,
other.
we'll have to, it's like, so
right,
we can bring both, right?
I love the line. He's like, Doctor, we can bring both. That'll work, right? And he's like, it's your marriage.
Oh yeah. He's like, I don't know. It's true. But then on a more serious note, he's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
And he lied.
He lied. Yeah.
He lied. Wouldn't work. It would break the TARDIS, apparently.
Right, which makes sense.
Yes. So it isn't so much that Matt Smith is being psychotic. It is more of him just making
it's not
a
psychotic.
hard.
It's just him being like, gotta get this done.
Yeah.
Haha, I'm so funny. I'm gonna kill your wife now.
Yeah, it's hard. The moment where she's trapped on the other side of the TARDIS.
Yeah, and you get
talking
some
to Rory,
dissolves, which are really good.
Those were really good.
Those were really good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she's like, "Don't let me in, because I don't unlock the door, because I will come in."
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh my god, that was like Waters of Mars end of the episode, because everything up until this point was just kind of all right. It was mostly just interest building on the setting.
Yeah.
But then it's like that last ethical dilemma just stabs you right in the heart.
This is the companion mini arc again, because this is where Rory realizes the Doctor's not this fun, happy guy. You know what they should have realized in Amy's Choice? He finally kind of realizes now. And he's kind of done traveling with him. We get this at the end of God Complex when he's like, "Yeah, I'd love to go. I'll take the car. Get me away from this guy."
Right, and well, it took God Complex for Amy to come around on that. Yeah, because the 36-year-old version or plus 36-year-old version of Amy disappeared. And she disappeared. So then it's just the young Amy who still has all this faith in the Doctor, because she was saved. Meanwhile, the other one wasn't.
Ceased to exist.
She still basically died too, though, because she was caught by the drones at the end.
Right.
Yeah. Brutal. This is a family show.
But this is such a good concept. I love it. Anyways, here's my notes.
You're a real time head.
Yeah, I am. Anything that is interesting time travel works for me. And this is so interesting because it's the way different time streams intersect.
Yeah.
And they use your techno babble. They're like, oh, the temporal engines are folding the time streams. But it really is just this really interesting idea. Disneyland Clom. Clom was the planet
that
the Zorbaloff was from. Yeah.
Yep.
Rory's Choice. That's this episode.
Yeah, it's Rory's choice. He chose both.
This is one from David. You're gonna have a great 36 years.
I forgot I said.
So many handheld shots, and Rory, don't touch that. That's Stephen Moffat's penis.
Oh my god, what is that even in reference to?
Who cares?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Anyways, this is a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good.
Is this the best episode of the season?
This is my best episode.
Yeah, God Complex is not quite as good, but is also good.
Yeah. So anyways, our next and final in this little trilogy of not shit. Well, Nine Terrors was shit, but anyways.
Right. It's Amy and Rory's awakening.
Yeah, it's God Complex.
And then Moffat has to come in and ruin it next season, but anyways.
Yeah. God Complex, which has one of the funniest fucking cold opens ever, where she goes, You never know it's your room till you walk in and you knew it couldn't be anything else, and a man in a big gorilla suit comes out. And it's like,
that damned gorilla. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's good though. I like it. Yeah. I really like it. It's kind of unnerving though. If we had been watching that for the first time, I imagine it would have been much more jarring.
Yeah.
Because we already remembered the concept because it is such an interesting concept.
It is.
But
I imagine the first time seeing that, it's very like, what's the hell?
Going on?
Yeah, it's kind of scary. And the people we don't understand why yet are like accepting and glad to be killed off.
Right.
To be ripened by their fear. I'll just start off with my criticism before I forget of this episode. The music, it's not necessarily bad, but they didn't capitalize on the creepiness. They actually played like weirdly hopeful music when these people were becoming possessed and happy about their doom. They should have played creepy music. Because from an outside perspective, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But they played it from as if it was like from the possessed people's perspective.
Right.
Anyway.
So this is another Toby Whitehouse episode. This is leaps and bounds the best episode he's written so far.
Yeah.
School reunion and Vampires in Venice.
Yeah, not so good.
So this is an episode.
We get a redemption arc.
Yeah, we do.
For both these writers.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
They write through the best episodes in the season.
Yeah, they save the season. Well, they don't save it, but they make
it.
They make it tolerable. Nothing could save the season, but they make it tolerable.
Yeah. So I think what does this episode really well is the ending. I think the rest of the episode is just okay.
I really appreciate that the threat was done in full prosthetic.
Yeah,
it
turned out really well.
Most of it was practical.
Yeah,
because there was no really any need to make it.
Except for CGI rope falling down.
What the fuck? I forgot. Yeah, there was no point to that. Everything else, they literally
ran out of money.
They had to. They had to. Maybe they just didn't have real rope or something. They already cut it, and they're like, shit, we don't have any other rope. Anyways,
I don't know. Yeah. So this is the first episode that introduces the weird rat people who always surrender.
Yeah, they're a species that's one of the oldest that's able to survive because they just allow themselves to be co-opted by others.
They show up again in the series 9 episode Before the Flood, which is a good episode.
I don't remember that one at all. I know it's Capaldi. Yeah, go on.
It's his Beethoven bootstrap paradox. Who wrote Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? But
they finally talk about it anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, this episode is kind of interesting. It's got a lot of good characters, which I appreciate. Everyone feels pretty fleshed out. It's not all written incredibly well. Some of it feels very Moffat, Good Man Goes to War. Where,
in what way?
Where the one British lady is like, well, it's okay, I'm a Muslim, and this is hell, and I'm not scared. It just feels like very
it works.
ham-fisted.
I disagree, because it works for the build-up about how it's not feeding on your fear, it's feeding on the reaction to fear, which is faith.
Think about if she has... this is just throwing it out there. She has a bag with her or something, and she opens it, and there's a hajib, and the doctor goes, "Oh, you're Muslim," as opposed to her just randomly going,
"True,
I'm a Muslim."
Yeah, I suppose it could have been handled better. Yeah, but I like the idea of the person just being like, "Oh, we're in hell," though.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But anyway. But I mean, like, lots of people believe in hell. So
hell's just an '80s hotel.
Yeah. She said that even. She's like, I haven't quite figured that out, but I love the room full of the laughing dolls. Yeah. It's funny.
It is.
It's funny. They're funny. It's a funny guy.
This episode is actually, I think, more funny than
it's kind of dark comedy almost. Yeah.
Because the nerd kid has some really funny lines. I'm gonna read some of the notes here. He walks into one of the rooms that just has a bunch of girls, and they just turn and laugh.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's great.
And then he has another line that says, "He's going to kill us all." How cool is that?
Oh yeah. And I like how he's like, it has to be a CIA thing.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a CIA thing. Yeah, it's good.
That's us.
That's literally us being laughed at by a room full of girls because they saw our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. The editing in this episode is funny as hell. It's not bad. I think it's actually pretty good.
I think they're actually taking advantage.
They are, but it's just it has some funny ass jump cuts.
Yeah, the jump cut between that one lady, the Muslim girl, like laughing and crying.
Yeah. There's a room with weeping angels, seemingly for the rat guy.
Well, you think it's Amy at first,
Right.
but it is for the rat guy.
And you pointed out an interesting point. If those are images of angels, shouldn't those become angels?
How about that, Moffat?
I think at this
how about
point
that?
he
just gives up.
That's too much. It
Yeah.
just retcons it.
Right.
Because that's not how it works in Angels in Manhattan.
That would make them way too powerful.
Yeah,
they are
for sure.
already so powerful
Right.
that it's like, anyway, that's a different topic.
Right. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He just made it. I forgot the episode anyways, so it's fine.
Any excuse in the Moffat era to bring them in.
Yeah.
Literally any excuse. They're in 11's last episode, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
It's like any excuse.
Right. Yeah. They're
Fucking
they're in
pissed
Time of the
off.
Doctor.
Pissed off. It's like, oh, look, this thing that we did. Anyway.
They're pretty good in Time of the Doctor, though. They're only there for 2 seconds.
Exactly. That's my problem.
Yeah.
But go on.
But anyways, the Doctor opens his room and looks inside. You hear a TARDIS noise, and he goes, "Of course. What else would it be?" And actually, it's just a DVD copy of A Good Man Goes to War.
It's the Bride of the Doctor going, doing the TARDIS noise. No, but it is implied that it's him.
Yeah.
And
it's probably John Hurt, honestly.
You think so?
Yeah.
The War Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just John Hurt.
Oh,
It's
just John Hurt.
It's just
No,
actor John Hurt.
yeah, no. Anyway, because he closes the door and it has, or the door number is 11.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though he's the 11th Doctor,
Right.
but it's like implied, oh, it's him.
It's him, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Like, of course it is. That's the only thing he'd be scared of.
Right, that's the only thing that would make sense, really.
Right. Until we get to Peter Capaldi's listen.
It's
and then you
David
realize
Tennant
he's-
being frozen in a bus going, what is he? Multibene? Just like, yeah.
What is that? Learning?
Yeah, that's what it is. Because he never found out what it was.
Yeah, because what else would the Doctor be afraid of? We learn a little bit of that in Listen, which is good.
Or at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
That he is really self-aware at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't mean he's really self-aware. I mean he's, at the end of the day, he is self-aware. Like that he's just kind of a drifter, dangerous...
He's a space hobo.
He's a dangerous drifter, though. He kind of ruins people's lives in a selfish way
for
because he can't be alone.
Yeah.
He needs to impress others, and then not only are they there to be impressed by him, they're there to give him sort of an anchor, give him meaning.
Right.
Because
Otherwise
without that, he doesn't have any meaning. He has no purpose because he's a selfish person.
Yeah, because he's running away from what he was meant to be. So he is just constantly trying to figure out what he's supposed to be, essentially.
And he does that vicariously through people that cannot do what he does for too long.
We learn that from every companion.
Right.
They all
Martha's almost the best example by having the most normal
awareness.
Having the most normal farewell.
Yeah.
She gets to keep her life because she
left.
left immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
yeah.
And we get this fully actualized with Clara.
Right. Until Moffat ruins it.
Of course,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's new?
Fucking goddamn it!
ruin everything,
Fuck! Back to the episode. There's that's the thing. That's what makes this episode is because it gives you so much to work with, so much to think about,
It's a
character-wise.
concept, and it works really well on the characters. And then probably the best part of the episode is the last 10 minutes or so. It's coming for Amy because the monster actually feeds on faith.
Yep.
And she has faith in the Doctor, so he
never works on Rory because he doesn't believe in anything,
Yeah.
or the Doctor.
Yeah. He doesn't lie to her. He just tells the truth that she shouldn't put so much faith in him because much like in Amy's Choice, when
Like
she
you
goes
would
save
think,
him,
you would think that he's just doing this to reverse the effects
Right.
and to get the Minotaur off her back,
Yeah.
but it's all true though.
Right.
It's all entirely true. It's like there's the truth in the lie. It's like even though you think he's doing this as a strategy, it's like it's still
just the truth.
the truth that he is just a madman with a box and that she shouldn't idolize him.
And when she turns back into young Amy, because that's what was in her room.
That really made it.
And he
it's
gives her
her
the
waiting
pad.
forever for him.
Yeah.
But
great.
it's almost like it's funny that that's her greatest fear when it would have been better.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That would have been better for her as if he never came back.
Yeah. Crazy. And then the episode loses an entire point for me because they do the Beast Below thing, but even worse, where the Minotaur goes, "I'm so old and fear."
It would have been better if he didn't say I wasn't talking about you.
Myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that loses a point for me because I was okay with it, like in Beast Below. It's just the fact that he's like I wasn't talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what loses the point.
Yeah,
for me.
it's lame. Yeah. It's like treat the audience a little bit better. Yeah. Like, don't...
We're not that dumb.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. We're watching this show. Yeah. Clearly, we're high IQ, very smart individuals. Yeah. We can handle...
We're in the Moffat era. Clearly, we're high IQ.
This is for the schizo people. We understand narrative, character parallels. We understand analogies.
Yeah, exactly. And then, equally just as good, he goes and drops them off, gives them keys to a new house and car, and says, "If you keep traveling with me, I'm gonna be standing over your gravestone."
Foreshadow. I wonder if he even really knew how he was gonna end them at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't think so. Because he has them on that hill, and he also has them doing other things. True, but wouldn't Moffat have stopped that if he knew?
Yeah, it's possible he knew by now, though.
True. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, it's good. It's a good bit of...
Yeah, and Rory is like, she wouldn't
He's
want
fine
us
with
to...
it.
Yeah, she wouldn't want us to take the car because we'd live forever with guilt. But I'm willing to take that chance. And he just takes the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the doctor leaves him. Probably for the best.
It's bittersweet. It's good.
It is good. And this is the completion of Amy and Rory actually being good
characters.
Companions.
Yeah, it only took 2 seasons.
It only took 3 episodes not written by Stephen Moffat.
Right? It's almost like Moffat not only is a poor character writer, he makes them worse.
Yeah, he does. Well, because he has to beat his dick off.
He has to get that cum.
Yeah.
He has to.
Anyways, here's my notes.
Anyways.
Praise him. Ape music from Planet of the Apes.
A little bit at the beginning.
Ape from Planet of the Apes. The room full of girls. The editing. The image of an angel? ? Ha ha ha. Praise him. Rory becomes a door because he gets slammed by the Minotaur.
Oh my god, yeah, that half a frame where the Minotaur burst open the door and Rory's just stuck on the door. That looked so weird.
And then my final note, Naimon. They say the Minotaur is a distant relative of the Naimon, of which I've made David watch the remix of, where
I still don't know what a Naimon is.
With most beautiful person Layla Ward saying how many Naimons. Yeah.
How many Naimons have you seen today?
Naimons are basically Minotaurs, so makes sense.
That's it?
Yeah. The whole episode's a parallel for the Minotaur Maze, just like this episode.
Right, that's, I mean, it's kind of, it's clever that they would make it a Minotaur.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that the doctor speaks to it and it tells him that it's like, it's so old it doesn't even remember its name. It's just instinct. It's just, it doesn't even want to do this anymore.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Is Layla Ward prettier than Amy? Yes. Anyways.
Damn. That sounds, she must be something.
Yeah. Just to me, because I'm a weirdo. God Complex, 7 out of 10 for me. Pretty good.
Really? I'd put it at an 8.
Pretty good. It's got enough problems that it doesn't quite hit an 8 for me, but I like it. I like it quite a bit.
The character building for Amy and the Doctor is enough to keep that extra point.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm kind of joking when I say that. There's just other stuff that bothers me. I can't remember at the moment because it's all fucking gone now. But whatever.
It's been purged.
So, anyways, now we're back to our endless cycle of bad episodes, and we get the return of our Lord Gareth Roberts and his squire James Corwin in closing time. We literally just watched this episode, and I have nothing to say. Actually, nothing.
It's a 1.
Yeah. The Cybermen are once again bad.
The most boring. They somehow make them the most boring enemy of all time.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah. I guess
with how cool they look.
So just read the notes.
Yep.
Doctor eats babies. It's Melody. us at midnight on walks, and you look awful.
So true.
Was the line delivery of Matt Smith. This is a 1 out of 10. This is a bad episode.
He took what happened in The Lodger, which wasn't like the worst thing ever.
It's pretty good. I kind of like it. Yeah.
I don't necessarily like it, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate The Lodger. I don't even hate the quirkiness of the Doctor. Because,
right.
as you say, it
fits to the plot.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't make it so awful. They don't
right.
make it hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch in this one.
It is
the
hard.
Doctor is really just it's a pandering to the Tumblr people that are so obsessed with Doctor Who, but they're really just obsessed with the idea. They're just obsessed with like the quirky Doctor.
Right.
They don't really care about anything other than the fact
they don't
that
care
he's
about
a
characters. They don't care about interesting stories.
No, they don't care about sci-fi even.
Right.
Like genuine sci-fi.
Right.
They just care that
like
the
Girl
Doctor
Who Waited,
is flying through the stars being a quirky asshole. Like, anyway, that's what this is.
Anyways.
That's what he is. Yeah. So it's just there's really not much to say.
Yeah, we were struggling.
We actually were just kind of not even paying attention after a certain point because it's so bad.
I think this is the first time since 42 that I have just completely zoned out of the episode. Vanished.
I think we broke a record because we do that twice in this season. We actually walked out during the almost.
That's
people.
true. That's true. We went
out to get
make burgers. Yeah.
And we missed like 10 minutes or something. Not even like 8.
No, it was about. It wasn't. It was like 5, but
2.
it felt like 20 minutes. Yeah.
And it just kept going. But yeah.
Yeah, this is. We'll get to the whole season at the end. Anyways, we get the series finale. Is this the only one-part series finale?
Maybe.
I think it is.
Might be.
Let me do some thinking.
I am appreciative.
No. Next season, Name of the Doctor is one episode.
Okay, I'm appreciative of that because I don't think it would have worked as 2 parts whatsoever.
No. Not at all.
And I didn't dislike it. I think you're gonna disagree.
I am.
It didn't felt like A Good Man Goes to War. It kind of just felt like Moffat's like, ooh, you'll have to tune into next season to see what this is all about, which I don't hate. It's fine. Right. I don't need some big grandiose thing. And I know they do the whole like all time happening at once, but it makes for some fun visuals. Mm-hmm. I like the whole Area 51 is in Egypt in a
pyramid,
whatever. Yeah.
Although apparently the pyramids are now in Cairo because they say they're going to Cairo. Like they're close to Cairo, but they're not in Cairo. Whatever.
But okay, Mr. Geography. But I didn't hate it. I thought it was all right.
This is definitely superior to Good Man Goes to War because it actually has ideas, it's not just nothing.
Right.
Like you said, all the time happening at once gives some really good visuals, all the trains in London.
Gives the best
everywhere.
Doctor outfit.
Yeah, his cowboy hat and his trench coat.
Referring
or
more
Jesus.
To Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tells Winston Churchill why time's happening at once. A woman.
So true. So true.
And that part gets a little goofy. It's almost Pandorica opens again, because it's very Indiana Jones, fast-paced, jumping around. We get the chess match, which is pretty fun.
That was actually really fun. I liked that.
The Tessellect, or whatever it's called, returns. Yeah.
It's infiltrating the silence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Matt Smith goes...
Because he's kind of... That's what this whole season finale is about. He's paranoid about what happens at the beginning of the season with him dying and how to get around that.
Yeah. And who the silents are, what they want, why they want him dead. Which leads to the most schizo ending since Centauran strategy.
You think so? It's literally not because there isn't a single cut. It's just the same shot. Yeah. Anyway.
A guy gets eaten by a pit of skulls.
That was kind of unnerving. That was actually kind of horrifying looking.
Yeah. We finally get explanations what the eye patches are. They're like an external memory bank, so you can actually remember the silence when you look away.
Which makes sense.
That explains the season. We get an Amy sicko mode moment where she puts the eye patch back on Madame Kavarian.
Which she has more reflection about than I would have thought Moffat would have written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. He does not ruin them in this episode.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Good for him, I guess. Whatever. Who cares? My big problem with this is just it feels very contrived, and I think the root of that is back to Moffat just having to connect every little dot, little thing.
It does feel like more of a precursor to the next season.
Right. He gets married to River Song because he has to or something. That's out of fucking nowhere.
I don't. It's hard to understand. They like just suddenly drop this idea that it's like either I kill you or marry you. It's like what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I where this episode gets me is the way it's set up, or just its pacing and the visuals. Make me not hate it.
Yeah, this is very much, I would say, the most Davies Moffat finale.
Yeah.
It feels goofy, but it feels like it knows it's goofy. It's not trying to be so grandiose and
I didn't even. I wasn't even bothered by the marriage sequence.
Really?
I thought it was fine.
That brought it down at least 3 points.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I didn't really have any problem with it.
I once again despise River Song in this episode.
I hate her when she is first revealed in Area 51.
Yes.
I didn't hate her by the whole.
She's good at the end with Amy, I think.
I actually think her peak is actually at the marriage sequence, because even though we hate River Song, it is.
We hate her, fellas. Am I right? Fellas?
Am I right, folks? Even though we hate her, it does make sense. It does work for what she is, that she's kind of like whining about it. She's whining about the fact that she has to kill the doctor, and she'd rather tear apart all of time than do it. And it's like, and it makes sense for character-wise.
And again, like Moffat and his just random throwaway sci-fi ideas, I really like how they explain how time is ripped.
Right.
Because he says the moment of me dying and the moment of me not dying
time stopped.
are happening at the same moment. So, of course, there's going to be a... you can't have both.
Yeah, yep. And it's like time stopped, but also everything is happening at once, and it resumes when the doctor comes into contact with River. River, which is basically how they solve it, along with the whole Tesselector thing to make a fake death of the doctor, which it's whatever. I don't hate it.
It's the same thing that happens with Davies, where he writes himself into a corner and he has to resolve it in a way that is dumb. It's not quite up to the Space Jesus or push buttons in the Dalek prison level,
right?
But it is it's set up enough. I'll say that it's set up enough.
The whole doctor coming into contact with River resumes time thing, for some reason, just makes sense to me. Yeah. Even though I can't really explain it, I can't really get into Moffat's brain there, what he was thinking. But it sort of just makes sense to me, as in the whole, like, as in the finale of the last season with 5, where the universe or reality is breaking apart, but it's like it started with Amy, so it's like that's the last to go.
In on it,
yeah, so it's like it makes sense in that sort of weird way.
Right.
But
and it's interesting. The idea of this finale is very similar to Big Bang in that, because not only has time stopped and it's all happening at once, but he says time is dying and it's almost closing in, almost
because
like
it can't be like that, because it would there would be too many paradoxes.
Right.
So
it makes sense.
Right. It is a bit redundant, but all the finales are a bit redundant. Most of them, I would say. Yeah. Because, you can only have reality end so many times. So that's my problem with it. But everything else, I'm not really hating on the writing or the characters. I like the pacing and I like the visuals, so I didn't hate it. I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow.
Or a 6.
Okay, interesting.
I'll give it a 6.5.
All right. Fair. I guess I'll read the notes then. This flirting. Do I have to watch it?
Yeah,
that's what
so true.
That's what we say. That's what Madame Kavarian says, yeah. This might be the stupidest thing ever made. And I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10.
God damn.
So, let's just take a moment to talk about what Series 6 is, because
Series 6 as a whole is without a doubt the worst thing ever. Yeah, this episode alone by itself, I didn't hate.
We're past it.
We're gone. Okay. I think you're gonna change your 3, but
I remember Series 6 being bad. It's so interesting because not only is it bad, what?
Oh God. Go on.
Anyway, Series 6.
Bad.
It's not only bad, but it is genuinely exhausting.
That's true.
Because we open with 3 episodes that are really good. Christmas Carol and the 2-parter.
Yep.
We get to a lot of episodes that are just so boring.
Yep.
Black Spot,
it
Rebel
breaks you
Flash. Down. And then we hit Good Man Goes to War. I would say
which makes you mad.
The 4-part trilogy of Good Man Goes to War, Let's Kill Hitler, Closing Time, and this one genuinely takes so much out of me that I don't exist anymore. Like
I agree,
except drained me of my fucking
I agree,
essence.
Other than the finale, obviously.
And that's the thing. They're not even just bad. They're
aggravating.
They're angering, and they just make you not care about any of the good episodes.
This is almost like peak sanctimony for me with Moffat. That is actually the pervasive criticism I have with the entire Moffat era is the sanctimony. It never felt sanctimonious with Davies because I felt like with Davies he knew what it was. Yeah. He knew what it was, and he knew where he could get away with kicking it up a notch a little, and then
some melodrama, whatever.
Right, and then everything else was like whatever. But this, it's just like he's taking himself way too seriously.
Right, and it's not only him because it comes through in an episode Mark Gatiss wrote. It comes through in everything.
Closing Time.
Closing Time
is a big example
Rebel
because
Flash.
it is. Closing Time should have been such a low stakes, feel good, fun, stupid episode.
Lodger,
exactly. It should have been like that. It should have been low stakes and understand that it's low stakes, and it just goes off.
It's color graded gray. Yeah. Everyone's so serious, and there's moments of comedy because it's a Gareth Roberts script,
it's like there is a lot of
the
quirkiness.
Comedy doesn't feel like it's supposed to be funny. It feels like it's supposed to be serious.
Right.
It's very bizarre and disjointed and uneven.
Yeah.
And holy shit, the arc this season is a massive turd.
It is really schizo, but I think I'm going to surprise you here. I didn't really feel much of the sanctimony in the last episode. I really didn't.
I think there is less of it in the last episode, but the last episode, along with those other ones, just fucking drains me. I'm gone.
Doctor Who.
It's no surprise this is the lowest season. Let me okay. So every other season, even if I've moved them down afterwards, I've given at least 2 10 out of 10s. This one didn't have 1 10 out of 10, and it had 3 1s.
All the others had 2
at least 2
10 out of 10s?
At least 2.
Really?
Series 1 has 5.
Even 2? because 2 had...
Satan
duh.
Impossible
yeah,
Flight,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
So anyways, the average for this season came out to a 4.0.
Still?
Yeah.
Because you gave...
I thought Closing Time was going to be like a 4. It was a 1.
Oh, yeah, it was a 1. But I think mine would be a little better because of my rating for the last episode. But yeah, it is definitely the lowest.
Right. And just for reference in terms of how I feel about the seasons, to remind you, Series 1 I said was a 9 out of 10. 2 I said 6 out of 10. 3 I said 9 out of 10. 4 I said 8. 5 I said 9. I would give this series a 2 out of 10. I think there is very little saving it, even though it has good episodes.
I would never.
I would never want to go back and watch it again because it's so fucking exhausting.
But I would go back and watch those a couple of episodes.
Right, I would go back and watch some episodes, but
I would watch the first 2 and then
series,
it
just drains you. You feel.
I definitely wouldn't watch it in its entirety.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, Here's my episode rank. Girl Who Waited, I think, is the best of the season.
Yeah.
It's certainly my favorite.
Yeah.
Then Day of the Moon and Impossible Astronaut. Then Christmas Carol. Then Doctor's Wife and God Complex.
I'd put God Complex above Doctor's Wife, but are you putting them on like the same level, or?
Yeah, they're next to each other. Yeah. Then we have Night Terrors. Then we have Wedding a River Song. Then we have The Almost People, Curse of the Black Spot, The Rebel Flesh, A Good Man Goes to War, Closing Time, and Let's Kill Hitler.
Yeah.
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 Yep. I agree with that list.
I will say if it did not have that little Amy Rory arc, it would genuinely be a 1.
Irredeemable.
This series would be a 1 for me.
It would be irredeemable.
Because there's no reason to watch it.
Yeah. You get nothing out of
Yeah,
it.
you could get good episodes, but you're just going to feel exhausted and angry at the end. So what's the
That's
point?
fair. Yep. Yeah.
Setting up Series 7, the oldest question in the universe is, of course, Doctor Who.
Doctor
Who.
Who.
Chanted at him as he walks away.
That was fine. I didn't hate that. That was all right. I mean, that's what it was leading up to. So.
Right, yeah. I find that really funny, but this is the start of Moffat's schizo... Oh, what's his name?
That's true. You know what? I might dislike this still. I might dislike this.
7?
Yeah, I might dislike it. Not quite as much as 6, but definitely might still dislike it.
7 is probably the season I remember the best. I remember every single episode and what happens in all of them and the little plot points.
Hardly remember anything, but I do hate the whole idea of just chasing after the Doctor's name. I hate that.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's a big part of it.
I'm conflicted on it because it's like yeah, there is that curiosity, but at the same time, it's not one that needs to be explored.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Moffat contradicts himself because in that little Gaiman thing, he said, "No, we don't need that. That's the Doctor's backstory. We don't want to elaborate that."
Oh, right.
And then he goes and does this whole thing.
Well, I'll give him credit to the fact that he doesn't actually ever give you his name.
Right.
So at least he has that inkling of respect.
What it is, yeah.
Well, it's true. It's like, what would you even do? But it is also still, like, at least he didn't attempt to do something. Oh my God, could you imagine? Yeah. I think we're going to reach levels of just breaking down this series at its atoms by Gibnall.
Yeah, for sure.
Gibnall's just going to nothing is sacred. Yeah. Nothing is sacred. Moffat even holds a couple things sacred, but
yeah, that's the problem with Moffat. I love his little sci-fi ideas. I will attempt to defend him the most I can.
Yeah.
He's not a good character writer, especially for women. He's really
absolutely
bad.
Not.
And he also doesn't know when to not be subversive.
Right.
He doesn't know when to say, this is sacred, don't touch it. He's always trying to do something new, and that leads to these little moments that really get on our nerves.
But I'm arguing that he is still going to be better than Gibnall in that regard, even though he isn't very good in that regard. Right. So it's like that's just lending credence to how bad Gibnall's going to be.
Right.
Because as you said, even Moffat was like, oh, we can't have somebody more Doctor than the Doctor.
Yeah. He does understand, but he forgets from time to time.
It's true. Absolutely, yeah. He really is he ruins everything he creates.
Yeah, we'll see that.
He can't help himself.
The Daleks when he has to ruin Amy again,
and
then fix her next episode for no reason.
Yep. He's a sick man. Yeah, I think we're finally realizing it. He's doing it on purpose.
He is. He's out to get us.
He knows what he's doing.
Series 7 is the longest series.
Let's go.
And we get the companion I like. So maybe I won't kill myself. Yeah.
Right.
Join us next time when we probably give a similar average rating, but the series comes out to more like a 7.